Okay, I'm just going to do some line work using a brush that I've never used before called dry ink. I just saw on a thread a few people suggested dry ink, so I'm going to try it out and see how it looks. The only thing I've done to it is I'm going to turn the streamline up to about 60. Because I do really like clean curves and things like that, and most of the brushes that I make myself, I do have the streamline up quite a bit. Okay, so just so you can see the photo, so this is the photo of the beautiful bird that I found. I Am Making Art. Shout out on Instagram, they have such amazing photos. And I started this one with, just to show you how I started it, I start with a rough sketch, really rough, just the basic shapes. And then on top of that, I do the line work, which I have. So this is the hardest part, figuring out all of the lines and really figuring out the character's face and the eyes and things like that. And then I do kind of like rough color. I just love to add color really rough like this, and then we have the eyes and just the little light details. But anyway, so let's get back to the sketching. Okay, so I always make this really transparent so I can see my lines. I'm making a new layer above. Okay, so I gotta check the thickness. It looks pretty good. So one thing that I always do is I do the eye on a separate layer. So I'm gonna do all of this, and then I'm gonna do the eye on a separate layer because I don't wanna lump it together with all these lines. I'm turning it all the way around because this is the easiest path for me to do lines, so I just rotate the screen just to make it a little bit easier. For this, I usually make this the upper lip area, even though this is top part of his beak. I usually make that pretty thick when I'm drawing faces or any sort of characters. I usually make this line pretty thick. Another thing that I'm doing is, I'm simplifying my shapes here too. It is kind of a nice textured brush. I'm so used to using my own brushes, so it's nice to use some other brushes for once. Now I'm not sure how I want to tackle these feathers on top because I don't necessarily want to trace them all out. I'd rather do them more organically using a thicker brush. Let's see how thick this goes. It might be nice to make the brush strokes thick and then use dry brush as an eraser, if I can find where it is again, or dry ink as an eraser to make these shapes. But I want to see if that will actually work. It might work. The cat's distracting me. Okay, so I'm going to look at the photo again. Oops, still on eraser. Whoops, still too thick. I really want to make sure I get these shapes properly. And the reason why I like doing it this way is it's a lot more organic to not trace them. So I'm just trying to maintain the shape, but really stay loose. There's a nice part here. I'm going to make my brush a little bit smaller since all of these are a bit smaller here. And it sort of looks like, you know, the feathers sort of go in the direction of the Okay, so I think that's not bad. I'm just going to pay attention to my sketch now. Okay, I was rudely interrupted, but I'm back. So let's finish off this rascal. I cannot wait to get the new iPad. So I'm just making all these little feather type patterns, but I'm trying to keep it loose. They don't have to be too precise, but they add shape to it. So I'm sort of just shaping out the shape. Okay. The only thing I'd really like is I'd really like this to be higher, so I might have to bring everything down lower. So what I usually do is my most of my bird is in a group. I don't know why that sounds so weird to say. Yeah, so everything's in a group. So I'm going to select the group, and then I'm going to select the new black ink we just made. And I'm just going to bring all of that down. Because I really want to make it a little bigger. I'm going to make everything smaller. Because I think a lot of the magic with this bird is the fact that these are so sort of grandiose. There we go. So I want that change in width. And I'll just use liquefy a little bit to just sort of extend it even more. Extend those a little bit. So I'm going to do a few more behind this, but I really like this, how it's thicker here. It kind of shows that it's, a feather that where the perspective of it makes it look like it's a flatter object that's wide, but we're just seeing it on the side. I really like that. So I'm going to do another layer underneath. That way, if I make some other ones, I can now just take the eraser, and if it would let me rotate, oops, I can sort of pull off the same thing. And also, as you see, I'm going really lightly, really, not lightly, but I'm doing very quick movements because, I don't want it to be too stiff. I think that's pretty good. A little bit of thickness here, maybe. And sometimes I'll just use liquefy to, that's why it's nice to kind of, the fact that I continue these on different layers, because let me try to smudge a little bit. No, smudge. I don't like that. sometimes if it seems overworked, then I may need to just start again. There we go. I like that actually. That's good. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this. Now, since all this is black, it's probably easier for me to just color it all in black, to be honest with you. I'm going to go ahead and merge these. Yeah, but I think for now I'll work on the eye. Find my sketch layer. Okay, there it is. Take a bit of I've been making all these smoothies, so I looked up the recipe for a strawberry surf rider from Jamba Juice, and so I can make it at home, and it's so delicious. Definitely make smoothies. This one is like limeade. I bought limeade. I bought like peach juice, like concentrate. Not concentrate, but I don't know, like peach juice, frozen pineapples, frozen strawberries. Make sure I'm on a new layer. I'm going to name this eye lines. Strawberry, pineapple, and yeah, delicious. Completely, whoops, it's a little too thick. All right. The eye I want to be a thin line. And then I'll do a thicker line along the back. Okay. Make this thinner. That looks pretty good. Pretty happy with that. Eye. Okay, so now for the rest of the black, I'm gonna start coloring this guy in. But the way that I'm gonna color it in is I'm going to color this in on a different layer, because I want to make sure that I can preserve all of these black outlines, all of these detail. So if I color all in black, you lose all of this. So for black, what I'm going to do is I'm going to color this in, and then I'm going to make it like a dark gray, because as you can see, he's black, but there's so many different variations of black. So I'm going to color all this in like a dark gray, and then I'm gonna also be able to color these all in dark gray to match. So then I'll be able to do a darker black here, a darker black for the shadows, and then a darker black that will accentuate these lines. Is that a weird word to use? Accentuate? I don't know. But yeah, I think this video is gonna just be the line work. So yeah, I'm just gonna finish up the lines for this, and then I'll make a new video coloring him in. So if any of you guys are interested to see how I would color this in, because you can see he's a very unique color, which isn't the easiest to portray. But there's corners that you have to cut to make sure that certain things are readable as art. So as for the line work, I'm definitely pretty happy with this. I'll just make a new I'll make a new layer, and I'll just give him an eye. I'll do his little tongue, and I'll do some lines in here. just so it reads that it's his mouth. I'll also do some lines here. Because I want it to look somewhat finished for the icon, otherwise it'll just look like a weird drawing. Oh, come on, turn for me. So I'll just do some rudimentary lines just so the point gets across. It's kind of nice to just, you know, when I'm doing line work and just even coloring in like this, it's just important to go with the grain. You know, go with the direction of the feathers. Maybe add a second row just to kind of give it some shadow. That looks a bit weird, right? I didn't really want to color it in, but I feel like I have to. Otherwise it just looks too like unfinished. Looks like I have to use a thinner maybe for this. See if I can make this work. Let's see if I do this thick. See what it looks like if it's just black. I mean, it is black, but it's actually not too bad. His eye is all black too. Okay, that's actually not bad. So here is dry ink. Kind of cool, actually. And there's the texture. It's very textured. So I just realized after I finished the tutorial, another option that I could do to kind of still preserve those lines. And I definitely wanted to show you. So essentially, it's a good thing that I did this on a different layer. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drag it underneath the original line art. And there's a few ways that I can do it, but I'm going to do it this way just because it's quicker. And this is just to show you what my idea was. So I'm going to take the color of the background, and I'm on my line layer, and I'm just going to alpha lock it. So I'm just going to use dry ink again, the same brush, and then I'm just going to color in those lines, color in those details. So now you can actually see, oops, oh well. So now you can actually see some of those details. I don't know why I did it there, but you can see a bit of those details, and it kind of preserves it. And I think that's actually, I don't know if I like that better or worse, but it is another option that I thought of directly afterwards. So I don't know if I like it. But just to check, I can always fill the layer back to black, and then I can just see which one speaks to me. I don't know, I think I might like the black. I'll leave it black. Okay, I'm out of here. See you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate you. Be sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at DrugFreeDave. And don't forget to join my private Facebook group, Procreate Tutorials and Guidance. Check me out on Facebook. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon. And as always, keep drawing, and I'll see you in the next video.